when women have been mainstreamed, in terms of physical mainstreaming and also in terms of issues. You could be a man and you could be gender friendly. So by the time we now have gender issues adequately mainstreamed into policies, into programs, into activities, then we will not have any fear of setback. I remember in Nigeria, when we were to hold our African Congress on women in politics and governance on the same theme, I went to the agency in charge of disaster. And when I met with the director, I gave her a brief on what we were going to do. She was so excited and confessed to me that they have really not looked at their activities on the area of gender, and that it is absolutely necessary to look at it in that direction, to the extent that when they are planning, they don't even plan for the women. And most of the relief materials they carry along to give to people who are out of their homes or who are facing one form of disaster or the other, they don't even carry along women clothes. Women, women, you know what we use. They don't even carry them, you know. And that this idea has really brought a kind of eye-opening to them in that direction. So in all spheres of human endeavor, especially in government, gender issues are very necessary. In education, people just train people in schools. They go in and out of school. Very few are able to understand the statistics of the female that have gone to school and come out and the male that have gone to school and come out, just because people are not gender conscious. So we are talking of gender consciousness and creating a balance in the system for everybody to smile. And because this has not been there, that is why all we have been talking about since the inception of this Congress is being looked into. And by the time they are addressed, like the last speaker said, during the plenary sessions, a lot of issues are going to be addressed. We are going to decide on how we want them to be addressed. And by the time we leave here, we will not come back, meet again, to say where we stopped. That is where the whole thing lies. There's going to be a change. Then the other speaker talked about how can FAWIP come to the aid of Niger Delta concerning gas and oil pollution, CAPWIP. I think the president of CAPWIP will talk about that. Then, okay, the use of pressure group. I think that one is directed to CAPWIP too. How CAPWIP can come into assisting the Niger Delta in the use of pressure groups. The only area I would like to talk about in that direction is, although pressure groups like unions she made mention of are legitimate, but we have to be cautious of certain actions which could, at the end of the day, come up with violence, which we are trying to guide against. That is the risk that one could be part of. There are different forms of agitations. Like in Nigeria, when women were asked to pay tax in the 50s, women rose up and said they will not pay the tax. And they had a peaceful demonstration. And that was the end. No tax was imposed on them any longer. There was no violence, no deaths, no casualty, nothing. So there are ways that one could agitate for certain issues and will get good results. I prefer for us to dialogue, because if there is violence, at the end of the day, you come back to dialogue. And if we can approach, go into dialogue in the first instance, why should we allow violence to come into play? I know what she's talking about. Like in the militants, they say, oh, the militants in the Niger Delta, they are all, is their agitations, which has led to kidnappings and all whatnot, that has that has made governments to give them attention, because international communities are angry with such attitude, and they are now trying to see how they could address the issues, and they have made the issue of Niger Delta one of the 7-point agenda of the president, and is on the serious burner in his heart. So that one wouldn't have been allowed, because it degenerated to that level. Not with this present government, but with past governments. The issue of Niger Delta, that is a different workshop entirely, because it has a history traced down many years ago from the colonial masters. So if we want to talk about it, it's a workshop on its own. So this present administration is now experiencing what has been piled by previous administrations or governments. And that is the reason I believe she said what she said, And again, those exploiting the oil companies, they are there doing what they are doing, knowing that what some of them are doing, they are not correct. And that is why Shell was driven out of Nigeria. You can't come to another man's land, country. You are taking their resources. And you know that if there is any form of earthquake or natural disaster tomorrow, a whole community may be wiped off. A whole region may be wiped off. Those that are alive, you can't even make them have a good living. You can't support them. It's very annoying. Very, very annoying. So, but that notwithstanding, if there is legislation, it goes a long way to assist. If they decide not to do what the law says, you have a right to sue them. And when they know that there is a law in that direction, then they will soft pedal. If they want to go 10 miles, then they may go 2 miles to check your patience and withdraw back. But if there is no legislation, they will just go on and on and on and on and on and do whatever they like. It applies to every sector in the region. So like I said before, on its own. But the data issue is a workshop. A few words I have said, I think it will go a long way to assist you. But I will hand the mic over to the president of CAPWIP, if she has anything to say concerning the assistance of CAPWIP or this Congress in that direction. Thank you.